Hannah Montana became one of Disney's biggest shows ever, but it all started with a different concept and a different lead. Hi, my name's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to do a little bit of a mini exploration, a mini deep dive into the creation of Hannah Montana, especially with the upcoming Hannah Montana anniversary. I know you all are really excited. I am. Let's crack on with it. So a little bit of the backstory on the actual concept of the sitcom. It was originally developed as like a dual identity show where the original character was named Chloe Stewart. So the creation, the production of Hannah Montana commenced in 2004 and led to the cast directors casting for like 6 months to a year up until they actually casted Miley Cyrus as Hannah Montana. No spoiler there, we know that she got casted as Hannah Montana, but how did she get casted as Hannah Montana? Ultimately, Hannah Montana became a global hit and helped launch Miley's career. And now for a bit of extra BTS info. And by BTS, I mean like behind the scenes, guys, not the band. Now, you guys may heard the name Michael Poyers. He was the screenwriter for That's So Raven. So he was already working within the Disney network and he had a lot of experience writing all these sitcoms. Barry O'Brien was also known for writing Hannah Montana along with Michael Poyers, and he also took part in the making of Kangaroo Jack. I still need to add that to my film list. I've heard it's so good. Along with Michael Poyers and Barry O'Brien, we also have Rich Carell. Now, Rich Carell had been the screenwriter for many other Disney sitcoms around the early 2000s, as well as Michael Poyers. So you're talking like That's So Raven, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life on Deck, and many, many more. Due to a lot of Disney's music-based franchises throughout the early 2000s, in particular, a pivotal moment being High School Musical. That's when the production teams were like, okay, we're doing really well with this. We need to think of a concept which involves some kind of music, but also like a really relatable average girl. And that's where they came up with the idea of a young girl leading a double life as a pop star. A bit of a backstory on Miley Cyrus herself. She does have a famous dad, and that led to a very wealthy upbringing. And not just that, but also being surrounded by show business. So she would go on the set with her dad. She would see all behind the scenes of how a TV show is made, a film is made. I believe around the time that Miley was really little, she went to the set of Dot, which is or was in sitcom starring Ray Cyrus. From there, she got her first role.
I'll tell you my big idea for the dance.
What dance? You know what I remember most about it was nobody danced.
I do this back home in Tennessee, and it works great.
Life sure does change in a hurry.
And that's where she kind of fell in love with acting in showbiz. And let's be honest, some of those traits are also passed from our parents. Yeah, of course, she inherited quite a few performative traits from her dad in particular. Anyway, that's what got her interested in acting. And from there, she persisted with audition and went back and forth from Nashville to LA. So Miley Cyrus went to audition for the role of Hannah Montana. And unfortunately, due to the fact that she was seen as too young at the time, as she was 11, and the casting directors were looking for more of a 15-year-old character, or that's who they had in mind, and someone with a bit more experience. Now, Miley did have a little bit of acting experience, and that was purely through her dad. Let's not lie about it. It's always who you know. Anyway, she got that audition through this talent agent and she got rejected. That's, I guess, how it goes in the creative industries, especially when it comes to the performing arts, like acting and stuff like that. So it wasn't actually until 6 or 7 months later that she got a call back to re-audition. And through that 6 to 7 months, she was consistently sending in audition tapes. I guess that definitely showed her persistence. She was up against thousands of other people going for this. As you can imagine, it's a Disney Channel sitcom, obviously, because she hadn't had a huge part before. This was like a really big deal. But she persisted with those audition tapes, according to the research, and she was then recalled for a re-audition. So she goes back to LA to audition, re-audition, and she gets into the top final 3 of the leading role for Hannah Montana. When I say that Miley auditioned for the role of Hannah Montana, she actually auditioned for the role of Lily originally. Top 3 3 were some prolific actors that you've probably heard of, or actresses that you may have heard. The little girl called Taylor something, I forget her last name, from the Grinch movie. So of course that was a huge movie, especially at the time. She definitely had a leg up with that film, so that made her stand out as a candidate. And equally, Danielle Monáe. Now, Danielle Monáe is of course who we know as Trina in Victorious, the Nickelodeon show, one of my favourite shows. Miley Cyrus gets into the top 3 and then gets casted as the role of, at the time, Chloe Stewart. Then the casting directors are obviously doing their thing. They're searching for the role of Chloe's best friend, Lily, and her other best friend, Oliver. Emily Osment, who plays Lily, Hannah's best friend, or Miley's best friend, Chloe's best friend. God, there's too many names going on here. The creators decided to change the names from Chloe to Miley, and then Miley and Hannah, and have it as that. And originally, the concept was actually set around a girl in New York who attended high school and had a secret life as a rock star. However, after meeting Miley, the production team decided to go with a storyline kind of based on her reality, on Miley Cyrus's reality. A typical girl from Nashville, Tennessee, who has a secret life as a pop star, and that's exactly what the show revolves around. So with that in mind, it was also very appropriate that they stick to the name Miley. So Emily Osment actually grew up within show business. Her parents were in the film business. Her older brother Haley Osment starred in the famous The Sixth Sense. I see dead people. Yeah, you've all seen it. Her interest in acting essentially grew from there and being surrounded by it all the time. So from very early on, she was in a lot of commercials, a lot of like background stuff. She eventually got through to the final rounds of the audition. As for Mitchell Musso, who played Oliver, he sort of grew up in a bit of show business as well, because his brother was very centered in like music and stuff like that. He auditions for the role. They all have what's known as a chemistry test, and no, that's not like a science chemistry test. The casting directors will test the actors' chemistry, and their dynamic works so well that they were then cast as the 3 best friends. Now, as for the brother, Jackson, who's actually my favorite character, he's freaking hilarious. Like, there were a few controversial things here and there, stating that he lied about his age to get the role. And I'm not being funny or anything, but if you look like you can play a 16-year-old when you're 28 or whatever, I don't see an issue with that if you can do it and you look it. But unfortunately, people will only actually pay attention to you in the first place if you give them false information. You get the chance. So he originally said that he was 90 when I believe he was like 28 or 29 at the time. And prior to this, he was just like an average guy at uni in the US. Now, let's talk about Billy Ray Cyrus. He is going to be one of the reasons that a lot of older people would watch the show, because they knew of him. I obviously didn't know of him growing up, but of course, naturally you find out that, oh, he was famous before. That's a little bit convenient. And that's exactly why originally Miley Cyrus did not want her dad to play the role as her dad in the show, because people would just assume that she got the role because of her dad, which I want to say technically she did get into the industry because of her dad, and that's so clear, like that is so obvious. To get that experience, she had her dad and access to TV shows, sets and things like that. So anyway, Billy Ray Cyrus was originally asked to take on the role as her dad in the sitcom. I mean, can you imagine having that experience growing up, like being on a TV show with your own dad? It's pretty crazy to think about, to be honest. And he was also unsure about it because as a whole, he did not encourage Miley Cyrus to get into show business, whereas her mum was very encouraging of her dreams and stuff like that. Sort of get where Billy Ray's coming from, because he comes from that background, so he knows what it can be like, and he didn't want his daughter going through that. And we all know that Miley, like other famous people, has gone through some very public slip-ups or controversial moment. That is part of what comes with show business. He eventually agreed to do it. One of the reasons that he was actually cast as the dad is because him and his daughter Miley had such a natural dynamic. He'd already had that acting experience, even though he was stating that he wanted a professional actor to take it on. Technically, he was also a professional actor. You know, he'd done some stuff. He was more into the country singing and that kind of thing, but he had got acting experience. So that was like a mini deep dive into the Hannah Montana series that we all grew up with on Disney Channel. That I've got to be honest, I don't know anyone who doesn't love Hannah Montana. Even my partner likes it, and he's a guy similar to my age, you know what I mean? Not that he like grew up with it religiously like I did, but everybody loves Hannah Montana. There's always a character that you can relate to. There's a dynamic that just works. And for me, my favorite character was definitely Jackson, and the dynamic between the dad and not just Miley, but Jackson as well. It just worked. There were actually multiple scenarios where filming would take place at local theatres where Miley would be performing as Hannah purely to get footage for the series. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really love Hannah Montana as much as I do, I know that you'll be super excited for the upcoming anniversary special. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.